Hi everyone, and welcome to this UNHCR Ideas Google Hangout. I'm Lauren Prater, Associate Innovation Engagement Officer for UNHCR Innovation, and with me are Noras, who works at UNHCR's Division of International Protection, and Daria, who works in Education and Innovation. Today we're hanging out to talk about the Educate Girls Challenge that's up right now on UNHCR Ideas. Nora and Della have each added some great ideas, and I wanted to pick their brains a bit about their proposed solutions to supporting communities and educators to overcome the challenges faced by adolescent girls in accessing education. Now, just to give you a little bit of background into this challenge, this was actually the first time UNHCR Ideas has crowdsourced a topic for a challenge. UNHCR's education unit really wanted to find ways to close the gaps in educational attainment rates between adolescent boys and girls. But they knew that it would be important to pinpoint the biggest barriers to girls accessing quality educational experiences. So we turned to our online community, which is you guys, and together with partners, UN Foundation, Caterpillar, Girl Up, we launched a social media campaign and a global poll. Based on the poll, our online community of refugees, UNHCR staff, partners identified cultural traditions like early marriage and/or life circumstances like early pregnancy. Which brings us to our challenge question. How can we support communities and educators to overcome the challenges faced by adolescent girls in accessing education? So Nora, let's start with you. Why don't you tell us about your idea?
Basically, my idea is an idea that tries to implement training, vocational training in schools. So what we want to do is to, the idea, what stands behind this idea is to have girls who are in school to provide them with the opportunity to already learn specific skills that they will need later when they will work, and that will have the effect, or hopefully will it have the effect of giving their parents an incentive to send them to school and to make them stay at school, because this is a huge problem of having adolescent girls who will drop out because of child marriage, because of pregnancies, because of not prioritization of schools, and very often because parents will not consider the school as relevant for the future career. And so tapping on this, this idea is tries to implement or change the curriculum a little bit, and in this and try to introduce into the curriculum parts that are related to vocational skills. That could be management skills or other skills like I mean, even cooking skills could be part of that, but that's not really what you are looking for. But all kind of skills that they could need for their future careers. But in order to really address and work together with the communities, it would be good to assess also the labor needs of the community and of the region before doing these courses, so that we have adapted courses to the labor needs in the region and for the community. And these labor needs will be assessed with the community, together with the community. And when you want to, with this idea, the ideas behind it is also to already talk to businesses and have those representatives going into these vocational courses and giving those vocational courses in collaboration with teachers who will have the skills to teach and who know, who have the pedagogical background, and the others have more like the content on business and can talk also about what they experience from day to day and can give those girls the opportunity to have an insight into future careers. And I think also that parents would then see that there is a connection between going to school and having a job later on. Mm-hmm. And in an ideal way, we would also have these vocational courses having like half a year having an introductory vocational course, and the other half year perhaps they could already work like 10% or part-time for the businesses and gain a little bit of money, because this is also one big reason why girls drop out of school. It's because they won't gain money during the time that they are in school, and this is for the parents. They think they miss an opportunity to gain money. So also to balance this out, to address this problem, it would be ideal if those businesses who will work with us in these vocational courses could also provide part-time jobs or kind of little job opportunities. And to follow up on this, it would be great that if we have some kind of agreement afterwards that the best students, the best girl students, will then take over a job at some point in the future. Or yeah, that's a little bit the broad idea with some details already. And
no, it sounds really amazing. So I see that you really emphasize the need for collaboration, not just between, the UNHCR, but the community, educators, the businesses around, but especially the parents. Could you maybe highlight why the parental role is so important in this proposal?
Yes, I mean, yeah, idea, yeah.
Now, Daria, you've been working with UNHCR in the areas of education and innovation. So this is a really great challenge for your interests. So could you tell us about your approach to coming up with your idea and sort of what drove you to come up with this proposal?
Sure. Well, I think, when I saw the question, I realized that, yes, it's an important one, especially thinking about secondary education for girls. There's a large gap in terms of girls having access to education when they pass primary ages. So the first thing that I thought about was focusing my approach to the challenge was to organize around the community. And I think you mentioned this earlier. And a little bit of what Nora said about, really getting the community on the ground involved. So what I thought about, or my idea, is to connect girls' education to jobs by partnering with the local businesses, nonprofit organizations, government offices, and other civil society groups around, where the girls reside in, to create an alliance with employers, and provide them with a mentorship throughout the time in school and possibly a job after graduation, through internship and volunteer opportunities while the girl is attending school and continuing in the secondary level education. Of course, once the individual has a degree or some sort of vocational training and is qualified to work, they will be guaranteed a position with this partner organization that they started off initially volunteering or interning at. So a little bit of what this would look like is, first, we would need to conduct an assessment of the area and locate national and international partners on the ground that would be interested in, working with businesses and, like I said, NGOs and other organizations on the ground that would be interested in hiring or taking on girls as interns and volunteers. Then we'd follow up with meeting with parents, and once we have the base down with the organizations talking to the parents, and getting them to explain the value of this program, which would mean that getting them to better understand what it means by connecting, the importance of having the daughter continue in school so they can have a job in the future and also provide an income for the family. So once the parents are on board, we would continue on building capacity and developing a process, and furthermore implementing the volunteer and internship program within the community in which the girls reside in, or that this project and idea is launched in. So this would basically, advertising would start beginning for the program. The girls would be asked to apply for, opportunity through the program. So fill out a small form, and representatives from the UNHCR office or other on-the-ground partners would go out and talk to the families and other the girls that have signed up to be, who are interested, who show interest. And basically, you would have information sessions that maybe the partners that are interested in seeking volunteers and hiring interns would be able to come to these information sessions and talking to the girls and their families about what opportunities exist and and what learning will occur at these facilities. Afterwards, the selection process will begin, which means each participant will be matched with a relevant partner. And of course, matching would be done with interests, connected to the girl's future, occupation interests and what she wants to do when she is older, and also depending on the distance of travel. So you don't want to put her in an unsafe location and away from her family and safety. So once the girls are selected, they would go through training through this program, which will teach them necessary skills on how to succeed in a program like this. Talk about time management, to providing them with resources that will include workshops where they're learning to take advantage of their time in the classroom and apply it outside into the work field. After I had imagined the 2 to 3 week training and support system parts to bring the girls to a level that they feel comfortable and engaging in internship or volunteer opportunity. They would begin, and of course the parents would be involved throughout this process, so they know that because the daughter is selected in this program, they're responsible for attending just classes in schools, and that in return they're getting this experience that will help them in getting employment after graduation. Mm-hmm. The goal is this would last for a year or more, depending on the interest of the student or the girl, or mutually agreed upon time. And then this would continue until she graduates from a secondary education, and then depending on what route she was interested in pursuing, either starting a part-time opportunity or continuing interning until she, if she's interested in pursuing a higher education, and being able to still know that when she is ready, when she graduates, there are these organizations within our partners and would be interested in hiring her, and so her opportunities of being hired are much higher. And I think in terms of the organization and the partner side, the idea is that first of all, that they would be working with within the community, and also working with international partners which looks great on their portfolio, but also most importantly, by participating in this program, these partner organizations and companies will be gaining future employees that will diversify their workforce and increase their productivity, which is a need in many of these locations that we would be considering applying this. I guess overall, the idea is to allow the girls to gain confidence in their abilities and reflect on what they've learned inside the classroom and apply it outside in the field. And parents will be more likely to send their girls to school if they know that they will be, the chances of them being hired and employed are higher. And our goal is for the girls to learn practical skills and be able to increase their chances of employment upon graduation.
Great. And I had one specific question, and both of you guys are welcome to answer it. Since you are both sort of connecting skills and jobs to education and trying to have this.
Hello?
When you're looking, if you were to implement this in a refugee area, maybe a refugee girl doesn't, have the right to work in the country she's in. This could be a challenge when trying to implement it in specific countries. Do you know how you would address that? And I know you mentioned volunteer internship possibilities, so it might not be paid, but do you have an idea of how you would approach this issue when implementing it in specific areas?
Sure. I think in terms of particularly my case, the reason that's why I started off with volunteering and internship opportunities is because, again, it allows the girls to have access to that market of employment at first, and the goal is if they continue with an organization or a company for 3 to 4 or 5 years, that they will build repertoire, and then the hope is that there's many options from there. The goal is that hopefully the company will be interested in sponsoring this student or individual, and or working around her legal status and providing her with employment. Of course, that's a topic that needs to be explored more and further in detail once with the partner organizations, and also depending on the status of each individual girl. It really depends, but I think that by starting off and giving them an entrance through the door and allowing them to have access through in the field and gaining skills, they can have employment. That's why I also included employment in terms of NGOs and other international agencies. There's a lot of agencies on the ground who are always seeking women and men who have ability to speak a different language or have skills that they can communicate and work in their community. So I think their job opportunities will be available if the girls have the right skills and experience to perform those jobs.
I totally agree with Dalia, and I would just add on that doing this, and when it comes to educating girls, it's never lost. I mean, whatever they will learn, they can use it wherever they go. If they will be resettled, if they go back to their countries of origin, if there is this possibility, or if the legal status could change at some point and they can be integrated. So we will. I mean, sure, these kind of concepts, both concepts would work better in a context where refugees are allowed to work. But even in contexts where they are not allowed to work, we will then prepare them that for the moment when they can work, they are skilled. And the good thing about education is they will never lose it once they have it.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. I think both of you guys touch on issues and ideas that relate to self-reliance and being able to build skills, whether they're going back to their home country or they're going to settle somewhere else. It's something that they can truly take with them. And now, Daria, as a master's student, why did this topic of adolescent girls' education appeal to you in particular? Did you have a specific experience? Have you always sort of known you were passionate about this field? What sort of drove you to where you are today?
Sure. I think, well, there's many reasons why this topic is of interest to me. I think for starters, I am a former, I'm a refugee child, and I, was born and raised as a refugee, and now having the opportunities to live in America and have an American education and be able to access resources that are available, it's pretty amazing. And I think growing up, I always realized that the privilege that I have by, accessing these resources and the value of an education, a critical education, and hands-on education, not only in the classroom having debates and learning about things around the world, but also outside the classroom and being involved in interning and volunteering opportunities and learning from other people really allowed me to, gain skills that I would not have otherwise. And now that as a master's student, I continue to focus on I'm currently in international relations and humanitarian development, and with a focus on peace building and gender specialization, which means I'm really interested on women and youth and especially girls. And I think thinking about refugee communities and displaced communities, women and girls are the most affected. And it's close to my heart, and also because I realize that it's an area that needs a lot of attention and a lot of work and a lot of community you know, support, which means that one person or one organization cannot do it alone. And that's why I think having these platforms, when I saw this platform, I was like, what a great idea to continue to bring people together and allow for students and professionals from the field, actual you know, survivors of horrific situations to come together and say, here's what we can do to you know, help in this area, and especially provide girls access to education, because once we do that, there's so many good things and positive things that come out of it, and that's what inspired me to be in this field and also to participate in this challenge. I feel like it's a great way to bring so many minds together in a virtual setting and have people to share and ask questions and come up with the next idea that can really help hundreds of people, and that's just inspiring to me.
Well, that's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing it with us. And we're very glad to have you on tonight. And that's exactly what we love about UNHCR Ideas, is being able to bring these voices, voices of refugees, voices of, you know, educators, voices of staff, people from all around the world that have different experiences that can truly, you know, have a voice in these issues and, you know, hopefully get their project implemented in the field. And Nora, I wanted to ask you specifically, why did you want to focus on the topic of adolescent girls? What is so important about this age group that they really should have a voice?
The problem of adolescent girls is that there's a great potential in adolescent girls and girls in general, because very often they are the ones who are responsible for their children, and they are also in charge of educating their children. So you have an effect in educating a girl. You have an effect of not only educating her, but also improving the life quality when it comes to health, when it comes to education, and to other parts of their life too, of the whole family, and also having a huge influence on the communities. So and until now, girls are in an advantage in comparison to boys. That doesn't mean that all displaced boys have a great education and can access. But still, we have much more girls, and there are also different reasons why girls are not going to school. And one of the reasons is that very often boys are prioritized, and when it comes to school fees, and when we talk about secondary education, we have more problems than in primary education. A lot of parents would say that the primary education, basic reading skills, this is important, but that's enough. But it's secondary education that gives you the ability to tap on your ability of critical thinking, abstract thinking, and also on entering the labor market. There are lots of statistics that are highlighting that educating a girl above the primary level has a huge effect on her life and her family's life and the community's life. So that's why secondary education is a huge focus for UNHCR. Secondary and adult education and education in general.
Great. Thank you so much for that. I wanted to know if you guys had any questions for each other. We're curious about each other's ideas, and we can start wrapping up this awesome hangout that we've had.
Actually, I really like Daria's idea, and I think we had similar thoughts, and it's perhaps also these two ideas are also perhaps ideas that could complement each other quite good, and perhaps bringing volunteer work into my idea and perhaps bringing other parts of my idea into hers. And I'm really looking forward in further discussions on the ideas platform, on collaborating also.
I agree, and I think that's the beauty of the platform. I think even if one idea is selected, at the end of the day, so many of these ideas could be merged, and there could be, part one where the students are learning a lot more vocational training in the classroom, and then part two, which leads into an internship job opportunity. I think they complement each other really well. I agree.
Great. Well, so there we have it, just a snapshot of the many ideas we have up on UNHCR Ideas right now. Next week, we're going to launch into the expert review stage where the top 20 ideas will be reviewed. So if you'd like to see your favorite idea move on to the next round, log in now and vote. Remember, when you educate a girl, you don't just transform her life, you are transforming her community. So take a stand for communities around the world and vote for your favorite idea on UNHCR Ideas today. Thank you, Daria and Nora, for joining us here today. It was really lovely to speak with both of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing how your ideas progress over the coming weeks.
Thank you. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, guys. Well, have a great night, and we will be speaking soon. Thanks for joining us.
Bye,
guys.
Bye.